This is a Sergey Rogovets Tanto number 3, and it's far and away one of the better no CNC knives I've ever handled. The machining on it, or however he's doing this, is amazing. Tight tolerances, everything's rounded off, no sharp spots anywhere, and the workmanship really shows. So you don't see too many of these. I think this is a newer model of his within the last year and a half or so. There are some being made kind of, I'll say, this time last year, so about a year ago. They would trickle into dealers, and then through, I'll say, January 2025, he was dropping them, or putting them up on his Instagram and then stating which dealer was going to receive them. And then in the last few of them, he did in MagnaCut, which is this one right here. It's a very big blade, by comparison to the usual suspects, I'll say. Comes in at 10.1 inches overall with a 4.5 inch blade length, and it weighs 7.1 ounces. So it's definitely large and heavy, and the thing is built like a Rolls Royce. I mean, everything just feels like there's a sense of occasion, like anywhere from opening the knife to holding it, all the parts on it. It's extremely cool. Here, I'll turn it over here so you guys can see the other side. I'll zoom out just a little bit. I mean, check this thing out. Like, I'll zoom in and then kind of just move the knife around. I mean, look at the satin, hand rubbed satin just everywhere. It's just amazing. And it's got brown micarta inlay on both sides. And check out this beast of a blade. Look at the grind on that. And it's perfect. Symmetrical on both sides. Just a beauty. Coming over to this side here. Coming up top. Lock bar area. And then in the back, he hand scribes. I'll flip it around here. He hand scribes his name. And then, come on, focus in. What's it say back there? The serial number's below it. Couldn't get it to focus, but it's his name. He hand scribes that in and then puts the serial number there. Grip wise, I mean, check this thing out. I got medium hands, so they're not the biggest hands anyway, but look how much room to the back there. You gotta just keep zooming out with this thing. In the hand, it feels great. It's obviously pretty big. There's jimping here, which, to be honest, it doesn't do a whole lot. Like, you're gonna slip right over that and come up on the more of the blade stock here. But it is there. Closing the knife, it is a front flipper. Now, being that I have smaller hands, can't front flip this thing without probably dropping it. And so I'm not even gonna try. I mean, I've tried it over my bed and there's just no chance I was gonna do it, so I stopped trying. But hey, if you have larger hands, you could probably front flip this thing. The action on it's on bearings. I mean, it's like deploying a samurai blade, like a short samurai sword or something like that. And then as far as drop shut, it's very controlled on the way down. That's the cool part, right? Is, it's not a guillotine, even though the blade's massive. When you're closing it, it's very controlled on the way down, so it's pleasant. But But yeah, I mean, just look at the machining on this thing. It's beautiful. Try to get it to hit the light to hit it in multiple angles here. And then the cool thing too is you can, you know, if you wanted to, I don't think he makes dual thumb studs for these things, but you can reverse it. So if you're a lefty or whatever, you can get in there and take this screw out and then flip this thing around if you wanted to. Minor complaint for me, honestly, is like this is a little bit pokey right here. Like you feel it, you know. There's the detent's really strong, right? Because you're trying to swing this giant thing blade out, and it'd be nice if it was just a little bit bigger here and rounded instead of, you know, being so narrow and coming. It's nicely rounded, so like it's not like it's sharp or anything right here. It just the thumb stud itself is narrow enough to where you definitely feel the pressure. And so if it was a bit bigger, I think it would be more enjoyable to deploy without sacrificing any sort of functionality. No lock stick or anything like that. I mean, it's really, really well done, and a joy to just handle and, you know, admire. There's a lot of knives, you know, machine assisted customs or custom knives that you get, and you look at them for a little bit and then you kind of just put them away. It's like, okay, well, that was cool and the fun's over. This one you can pull out and you're constantly just admiring all the attention to detail, and, you know, keeping in the back of your mind that there was no CNC used makes you appreciate it even more. And you're kind of just in awe. Size wise here, let's see, I'll zoom this thing out, put it more in the middle. Here's a Chris Reeves Benza 21, full size. And then on the bottom, a Strider PT. I mean, look at this thing. It just dwarfs both the knives, the 21 and the PT. I mean, it's a really big blade, which makes it really cool and fun in my opinion. It just, there's a sense of occasion when you pull this thing out and deploy it. And then when you take into consideration all the time and energy that was probably, you know, went into making this thing, the talent, you really appreciate it, in my opinion, more than many of the Macs out there. Like if you see a Rosie, for example, you feel it, you fondle it, and yeah, it's got great deployment and all that. But it's not soulless, but there's less soul. This thing, there's a ton of soul there. Like you feel like you're almost in the workshop working on it. And again, the analogy built like a Rolls Royce is very fitting. I mean, when you close this, when you open it, everything's very audible. They're very tactile. You just feel yourself operating the knife. It's hard to explain. It's a very unique knife, and a very unique experience. And the price is fair. You know, these are $1,150 to $1,400-ish, depending on what dealer you're going through and all that. They seem to kind of price them at their, you know, differently for whatever reason. But for that price, I mean, come on, when you see this thing, especially in person, you're like, oh my gosh, like it's totally worth the money. When you consider other knife makers here in the United States, you're like, yeah, okay, I see it right away. There's no question in your mind, like, should I have not spent this much money, or is this overpriced? I mean, I'm sure we've all had knives that you spend, say, well over 1,000 or even on the high hundreds, and you get it, and okay, yeah, it was hard to get or whatever, you know, there's not many of them made, but you finally got it, and it's kind of like, I'd rather just, you know, after a month or something, you're like, I'll just sell it and let the next person enjoy it. This is one of those to where you'll enjoy it every time you pull it out. So if you're on the fence with his work, you know, some of his designs, a side note, some of his designs for me are really polarizing and not to my taste. at all. This was actually one of the first knives I came across of his where I was like, whoa, that's very attractive, and really stands out in a sea of very similar knives. And so I had to jump on it when I saw one come up for sale at a dealer. But yeah, if you're on the fence with his work, don't be on the fence. You'll definitely get what you paid for and then some, in my opinion. Just bear in mind, there's no CNC, right? So you're not getting nothing's getting pocketed on the scales, no scale relief for weight. I'm not sure how to, I'm not savvy on how a knife's made necessarily by hand or anything like that, but I'll assume, the scale's got to be maybe a bit thicker to work on them. It's just going to be a heavier, more industrious knife than if it was CNC'd. So if you're okay with that and you expect that, then you'll be very happy with one of his knives. Flipping it over here one more time for you so you get a nice view of the back. But yeah, I thought you guys would enjoy this one. It's definitely not a knife that you can go to YouTube and, I think there's a couple videos from dealers or whatever, but there's not too many videos out there from just an individual end user. So I thought I'd throw this one up for you guys. And going back to the action, you can't really, it's meant just to be flicked. The detent's so strong, you can't roll it out. Another little minor gripe, I like rolling knives out. And then because there's no thumb stud on this side, there's no reverse flick. And unless you got incredibly strong hands, I know for sure I wouldn't be able to reverse flick this thing regardless. And I don't think many people could. So this right here is how you open it. Anyway, thanks guys, take care.